On November 9th, 2020, NRK, which is Norway's version of the BBC, published the following article. Tveita Mosque. PST wants to expel Iranian imam. The PST, or the Norwegian Police Security Service, is, amongst other things, responsible for preventing terrorism and countering foreign intelligence services. NRK reports that during their investigation they contacted PST's head of counterintelligence, Hanni Blomberg. When asked if the reason for the proposed expulsion was because the imam was working for Iranian intelligence, Blomberg responded with the following, quote, "I do not wish to confirm that, but on a general basis I can say that in Europe we see Iran using religious centers and mosques as platforms for gathering intelligence and surveilling dissidents. We have also seen this in Norway." End quote. One of PST's jobs is combating a tactic employed by authoritarian regimes known as refugee espionage. Suppose an Iranian political dissident was taken in as a refugee by a country like Norway. In order to neutralize or reduce the political opposition that the regime faces at home, they will send agents to monitor, threaten, and control their former citizens abroad. If these former citizens speak out against the regime, then these agents might seek to silence them by, for example, threatening family members that still live in Iran. Other more direct methods employed by these agents include abductions and assassinations. NRK reports that one of the reasons why PST wants the imam expelled is because he has ties to an Iranian with Norwegian citizenship who is currently jailed in Denmark. This individual was found guilty of spying for Iranian intelligence and for aiding and abetting in planning to murder somebody on Danish soil. This individual was apparently arrested before these plans could be carried out. In order to learn more about the impact refugee espionage has on Iranian dissidents in Scandinavia, I found a person who has been the target of plots similar to the one detailed by NRK. This person graciously agreed to the interview, and so I traveled across Scandinavia in order to speak with him. Unfortunately, due to security concerns, this interview could only be held on the condition of anonymity. In order to literally hide his identity from potential assassins, I have distorted his voice. While this may not be conducive to an optimal listening experience, my hope is that the seriousness of this topic will compensate for the inconvenience. Okay, yeah. It should be recording now, I believe. So, yeah, thanks for agreeing to sit down and have a conversation with me.
You're welcome, dear. That's my pleasure. Thank you that you're doing such a thing. I hope it help humanity and freedom and democracy in Earth.
Yeah, me too. So why don't we start with your background? If you wouldn't mind telling
Yes.
listeners a bit about yourself.
I am. I was born in Iran in a quite large family. I'm the youngest son in the family, and before revolution, it was close to revolution of Iran. I ran away from country because it was happening that, and I, because of my despise for religion, especially Islam, and I heard all these fundamental group are coming and having power in country. So I ran away from country out to Pakistan and India after. Yeah, my family are not religious family. They are normal family with their each individual their own believing in things. And I can say generally 90% of population of Iran is the same. They are not believing in any special religion, but those five, maybe less than 5%, which are fundamental, and they're not calling themselves Persian or Iranian. So those are because of the brutality they kept or came for keeping the power in country, and that's just because of money, of course.
Right.
Because that. So, what more do you want I tell you about my family? So.
Well, maybe yeah, your family sounds
Yeah,
like a normal family, but
yeah.
so what did you do after you left the country?
I left the country because from childhood I was busy in the music world. So I came out and continued with music world and some part of humanitarian job for UN. So
How did you get that job?
that came from started from India for helping transportation of the medicine to Afghanistan for children,
Hmm.
which they were uh, because of this mine on the ground in Afghanistan. They needed a lot of medicine at that time because it was the time Russia was inside of Afghanistan.
Hmm.
So it was a small group which they were helping to transport from Pakistan, from India to Pakistan, from Pakistan to Afghanistan, those medicine. So there started, and then I became officially hired by UN inside the group UN, and then that developed more for becoming commander for UN for doing stuff.
And then how did you end up in Scandinavia?
Uh, mm, because I got tendency for being a Buddhist, so um, my believing didn't let me to carry weapon anymore,
Right.
and I was against weapon and war and all these things stuff. So I stopped working for UN because I didn't want to do anything with the weapon. And I got opportunity to come. They sent me to Norway, and but I didn't stay there. So, but I stayed in Scandinavia.
You're a musician now, correct?
Yes, I'm doing music and try to be as a professional as I can. So in music, so
How did that come about?
that's uh, that's because of I think I had a talent for both instrument and singing, and because of my skill in singing, the form I'm singing, it's interesting for Iranian. So I continued that one, and I could use that as a voice of Iranian people which are under pressure and that bad system in Iran. So so I started to sing political and the truth about happening inside of the country to bring that voice to the outside of the country for other all Iranian to make one unique movement against this government of Iran, this system which is one brutal system and is going damage a lot in earth actually this system.
Yeah. What kind of things are going on in Iran right now?
You know, the, let's explain it very simple. I don't want to go very deep inside after this complicated explanation of what is religion and how it's building up and what's happening and how can human being, because of their believing, give this right to themselves to kill other human beings. I don't want to go deep inside it because it's obvious for everyone almost now. But I can say, let's say we are living in one room, we are 10 people, two of these people are believing strongly in their fundamental belief, which is Islam, for example. And they believe if they kill is good for God, if anything they do is for God. At the same time, by themselves, they don't believe in that, but they believe in money and power and get that money. But how they want to keep the attention of people around themselves is just talking about something you cannot see it, you cannot prove it, you cannot stay against it. So they bring the God name and prophet name, and which all is built up in their small brain, actually. Nothing such a thing exists, after my opinion. So they come with that, and then they take the power because they're so brutal, and the other eight in this room, they believe in freedom, in book, in writing, in music, in poetry, in love. And so these two fundamental in this room start to killing one by one. And the rest, let's say, they get so afraid, they have to obey and just follow the rules what these two are telling because they're afraid of what's happening to them. And this happened inside of Iran because this brutal system, they came and they learned it from China, from Russia, how to torture, how to kill, how to rape, and make people get afraid of them. And spending all the power they have to make more power in area like the Palestine, Syria, Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan. So those poor countries which need money, so they're spending all money over there to get more people for themselves, more power for themselves, to follow what they want, and that is what they want is so simple, is money and power. Just that. And if you see, they are talking about of prophet, they are talking about of God, but they are living in a luxurious life in the different country, in Brazil, in States, in England. They are living like the king. Their children are doing porno things, but people inside of Iran cannot even have one without scarf come out of women. They have to do. So it's just built on lie. And these are like the animal, this system, because none of them are literate or studied or educated. None of them. None of this government is that. So they are just simple people, illiterate, and without understanding about of the society and politician or anything. They just believe that they should kill if anyone say no to them, and they should enjoy themselves from the resources of the country, which Iran is a rich country. And this is the simple explanation of what's going on inside of Iran. And this brutality, they reached it outside of the country. Of course, now has become a little bit less because whole Europe and other province, they understood that what's going on with this government became less. But all these 40 years by their rules and their governments, actually they did the same thing. So they threatened Iranian which ran away from the country and living other country. Then they want to live in peace, but they're threatening them to do work for them. And some of them they're doing because they're afraid. Some of them they are not doing, and they get the result of that. And uh, and I can say there are a lot Iranian which they are under suffering, and even they are afraid. Still they are writing. Still they are talking about it. And still they are coming out. And both singers, writers, poeters, actors, and in different countries. And I think it's the time really the whole society of Europe to understand these creatures are dangerous. They are doing everything to reach what they want. And I don't think the secret service of any country knows how strong is brutality of this group, this Iranian government group. And they are very little. Think about of maybe 20, 30,000 people. They have a whole country with 80 million under their pressure. And nobody dares to stand. Or just last year, they killed 5,000 people in the street during 2 days. 5,000 people they killed. And unfortunately, the global politician make, okay, if they give them money and make money for them, they let them, they still stay. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. I guess that brings us to one of the things that I was interested in talking to you about because I saw a case late last year where the Norwegian Secret Service wants to expel an imam
yeah,
who who is allegedly possibly working for the Iranian Secret Service.
yeah,
And as I understand it, you have had agents like that come after you before. Is that correct?
Yeah, oh yes, oh yes. And it is not just about me, it's many Iranian, they have experienced that one because they get called from embassy of Iranian embassy, direct, call them and say, we heard that you talk so much. And they're threatening like that. But of course, some people like me, then we decided to do something for our country. So we take what it needs to take. So we are going and meeting those as much as we can. But the problem is always the people are related to you. So you're afraid for their lives. So if I was alone and it was just me, I would stand with all my power. And I wouldn't care that what would happen to me. But I know how they are working because they can threat and hit the people around you, even your friends, your full family. So they can do that. And that you're telling about this Imam, I can say definitely 100% he's a spy. There is no such a thing, the religious person from Iran come to Europe, it be just for the God he comes, or for help, or for living free. He comes for doing something for that government, unless he's not religious. So a person comes here from Iran or from those countries which are religious country to here. If he's not religious, then he comes for freedom because he doesn't like that system. And I tell you, if Iranian people could run away from that country, now would 80 million refugees come to the Europe or to state. But they cannot come out, all of them. They don't have possibility. Just before that, 2 years, 3 years ago, I think maybe a little bit more, 60 university students was fired from the University of Oslo because they were spies.
Really?
Yes, and that is in the newspaper, and police did find that, and Secret Service find that, and they threw them out from the country, so they went back to Europe. And how they understood, because none of these people were intelligent enough for education. And they were coming as a doctor to go and continue doctoring in university. They never has been in university.
Right.
So they were just for spying other students, other Iranian students which are at university. Because of that they came. And of the help of other students, they could find these 60 and send them back. But still is few left of this spy in Oslo or in Denmark or in Copenhagen or in Sweden, Stockholm. And many of Iranian people, they know them even. But because here the system is telling if you have proof for it, paper, so who has paper for one spy? But we know by our culture who is a spy, who is not. And I think the whole system of Scandinavia should wake up, should start to think and get help from other Iranian for to recognizing these people and catch them. Because I think they are dangerous for whole humanity, for whole Earth, not just Iran. And unfortunately, my people did suffer for 40 years inside of the country. You know? So I hope that this doesn't come, this tale to Europe and state, which part I can see they are now gathering their group of this fundamental, Pakistani fundamental, Afghani fundamental. They are believing in what bullshit Iranian government is telling and following. And of course, they pay so good to everyone. Everyone works for them. They pay billion, and that is from Iranian money they pay, from Iranian resources.
Has your family in Iran ever been threatened?
Yes, yes. Directly they called them and they threatened them for taking them to the jail, even they are not active in anything, and they cannot. They're afraid of also their life, their children's life, and so. And
Because of your
Yes,
Was it
because
your
of me.
music?
But the things about me is I never had connection with my family in Iran, never. And I don't care about my connection with them or anything because we were separate families. So I chose my life and I went away. So there is the bond is not that strong,
Mm.
and they don't have that strong bond through me. So they don't care that much. So they are telling that we cannot control him, we don't know him even, and that's true. We don't know each other as much as, but they did threaten them, and that also caused I slow down a little bit my activity against this government.
Right.
You know, but there's many things it's so obvious, and I know, and I have proof for it that what they are doing in the different country illegally. You know?
Mhm. And I guess I seem to recall that um, people who have worked with you previously have also been targeted.
Yes, in in the field that way I'm working in this music. So there is a poet, composer, and arrangement guy which are doing this all stuff for my music, and some of them are living in Iran. And at the beginning, then I started to sing those songs which are against this government and is telling the truth about them. They were captured and tortured and also threatening them a lot with beating them up and all this in the jail. And I had to work anonym after that with these people. So now, as much as I can, as working in underground with them. So I don't bring their name in my songs to just can continue this work. Yeah, they are doing. This is so normal, you know. It is not just about music work or anything. You're writing. The people are working for environment in Iran. You know how many hundreds of girls and boys are in jail because just they are telling about environment, of animal, birds, what they are doing to them, and they're taking them to jail. Can you believe a girl, for example, 25 years old, writing an article about of birds are dying in this area, and they give them 25 years in jail, catch her and beating her up and putting there. Yeah, that's just crazy. So their tolerance is zero for other people. But if you have a one painting about a Muhammad, that bullshit Islam some they had, they are killing whole your family and everybody, even the newspaper man or anything about that drawing, and they expect that you should have tolerance for them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a obvious double standard there,
Yeah, yeah, it is.
and something that a lot of people, in my experience, don't really don't really appreciate. I mean, I've said some of these things, some of the same things that you're saying in conversations with other people before, and one time I was talking to a girl about it, and she told me that I'm so tired of all these white people talking about things they know nothing about. Uh, I mean, I I don't really know how to respond to that. Really, it seems
No,
rather strange.
this is the ignorant of uh, because if you're born in a country which from the beginning one bullshit lie they are injecting in their brain, stand up, say Allah, and thank to Allah, Allah Akbar, all this bullshit. Use Arabic language even is not your language. And even you don't know that history, even you don't read that book, you cannot talk that language. But follow that rule, you don't know anything about it. And you grow up, so you are a part of it because you don't know what you're going through. Then you have a little bit intelligent, you start to questioning yourself, what is this bullshit? Why I'm doing this? Then you come out of that scheme they made for you. So you start to research more and more and more and more, and you learn more and more. actually, those people are questioning freedom in Europe or in other places which is more democracy is involved. So questioning that because still they didn't learn. Europe has gone through the many pain to reach in this place they are. 400 years ago, 450 years ago, the same problem they had with religious people, with the Christian from the church and all these problems. They learned that time how to stand against it. And that's why now Europeans are questioning the system. But the thing is because they learned about of democracy and they forgot how brutal was this, or it can be this religion. So still they don't believe it that in this year you can find a group which are believing that way. So those people are coming from Iran or from the Muslim country and they are talking like that. They didn't come out totally from that scheme they built for them. They need time to understand. And I'm happy because of this internet system in whole earth made that many million Iranian youngs start to read, talk direct and understand about of what's going on the rest of the world, you know. So they understood all lie about of Islam and all lie about of Quran and all lie about of system of this Iranian government. So that helps a lot because now I get a lot of mail and messages from youngs from 15 above. They are sending me messages and talking about what they're feeling about of this religion, this brutal religion, from about of this brutal believing and all this government and this group which are holding them in actual captivity, you know?
Heard that before as well, actually, from not just Iranian dissidents, but famous atheists like Sam Harris and stuff. People
Yeah.
who criticize religion a lot. They say they get hundreds of emails from people who say that they agree with them and that they
Yeah.
don't believe that, but for example, that they don't dare tell their parents about it
No.
because they fear that their parents might kill them if they tell them that they
Yes.
don't believe anymore. And so, what do you think? What could what could people like me do? What could Scandinavians do to help people in situations like that?
Yeah, I think the best thing is police get involved and police and also secret service get involved directly and take care of those people which came to countries for freedom and they understand that and they are taking care of that. But they're giving so much sacrifice inside of this one, you know. They lose a lot. They're afraid and they need help. And these people cannot each time bring some piece of paper as a proof to show what's happening to them. It's just happening to them. And if they feel safe and European can start to throw away those one came here for intention to bring their message from the Muhammad to the other country. Those are dangerous. I believe in democracy. I believe that okay, everybody should believe what they want to believe. But also you should take care of they don't harm other people for what they believe in. The mosque, you can have your prayer at home, and if the mosque should be a public mosque, not for grouping these terrorists comes there and grouping together and organize themselves and use money for killing those people who are here for freedom. And until now, history shows that Muslim or Islam is not a peaceful religion at all. So if you understand that, you should stand and don't let happening. And you get help from even many ex-Muslims, many million ex-Muslims, because they know what is suffering about these things. So here also about Iranian people, those are in Norway or Denmark or in Sweden or Finland, they are, I can say 99.9% are against Islam. They hate it. But also they're afraid of what's going on against them, you know.
Yeah, I can understand that. It seems a bit strange to me because I know people, somewhat famous ex-Muslims, let's say, who go to college campuses and they hold a talk about how they were oppressed and about their experiences and why they left Islam, and then you get these privileged Westerners who say, "I don't like what you're saying because it's Islamophobic," and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that is very painful for us, which because those people are coming from side of democracy and try to protect that freedom that why you're talking about of Islam like this, because they didn't experience it actually. They just read about it and they just see a good side of the beautiful heaven they are showing in Islam as a lie. But if they go and live in Iran for example, 5 years, live in the country, and then they feel it in their skin what means to be in torture, getting slapped in your face or your wife gets slapped in front of you of some stranger. They take your wife to jail and you to the other jail and they rape your wife and then let it go. So this happening to the Iranian politician, people that are fighting inside of Iran. And I think they are so brave with all this problem, with all this pressure, still they are coming to street and fighting. So I never have seen in history a brutal government like Iranian government. I haven't seen. Not in Chile, not in Russia, not in China. Even they are the teacher of Iranian government. But I haven't seen that brutality. So they are really for keeping their power and keeping their Islam, even their children, teaching to their children this government, people, how kill Iranian people. It doesn't matter. Iranian people are not worthy. Persian people are not worthy because they don't believe in Islam. And I'm telling this is a small population, very small population, maybe 50, 80, 100, 80,000, having whole country 80 million under pressure. I think Earth should do something, not just because of Iranian people, for themselves, because these get power, they will make unsecure life for whole Earth, everywhere, you can see many places they started to do.
Yeah, I mean, Iran is quite a large sponsor of terrorism.
Oh yeah, because they have money. All the Iranian resources they're using for killing people and damaging things. Billions of dollars and euros goes to Syria, to Lebanon, to Palestine. Just for what? Not for building, not for helping, just for making terrorists stronger.
Do you have any other topics you would like to cover, or any other messages?
Uh, as a proof, as a very documentary proof, is now started off this secret service of Iran, these youngs which are coming for spy. Many of them they turn to Christian religion.
Right, they convert to.
He has converted, and because they saw that peace, they saw that reality inside it, maybe, and that democracy pleased them. So they started to talk, and I have a film in Facebook that
Right,
a
right.
young guy in Netherlands coming and telling I was working for them, and they asked me, and they paid me very good money. They sent me 4 of us to the Netherlands, and we started to work as a spy. And just giving the address of and name of the Iranian people who are against the Iran government. That was their work.
I'll put up a link to that documentary somewhere in the video. But would you mind like giving a summary of what they were doing while they were in the Netherlands before this person converted? Was it just sending addresses, or did they do other things?
No, not just addresses, of course. They are they are parting in groups. One group, which are the mildest they do, is finding name. and addresses and faces and pictures. The other one, going a little bit deeper, they are recording voices, recording filming, and gathering documentary about of these people and their family, their children, their wives, their friends, their work, what they are working, how they are working, where they are working. The third group is a group of action, which they come like the gentleman comes from the, or ladies together are coming from Iranian government with aeroplane, going direct to embassy, changing clothes and coming out and going to their target and killing them by knife, which it happened this just last 6 months in US state and Canada and in Denmark. They killed them by knife and running away. And system is not that strong to can recognize them that quick because people are going out to shopping and 3, 4 people come with a knife and attacking them and killing them and running away, taking a car and going back to the embassy and taking airplane going back to the country in that night. So they're working like that. That is so in different group they're working, and many of them they are acting like they're against Islam, coming and to recognize. So even Iranian people they have to be careful who they are believing among themselves and to who they can trust say something. Sometimes they are even afraid to talk to police about it because they don't know the police is keeping those secrets for themselves or giving or selling it to the Iranian embassy, you know. So there are just doubts everywhere. Everywhere.
Yeah, that reminds me of a story that I covered in a previous video, actually. But there was a person in Norway who, to show solidarity to the French teacher Samuel Paty, who was
Yeah,
beheaded in
yeah,
France. This person in a Norwegian city who is from the Middle East originally went up and hung up Muhammad caricatures.
yeah.
And on the same day, 4 police officers show up at his door and try threatening him to make him go take them back down again. I mean,
That is amazing. That is really scary because that shows that police actually should protect the democracy, not protect the opposite way. So what that is out of understanding really. So I think that is the worst they can do because you're telling to the people don't talk freely, don't think and don't criticize because maybe that terrorist which is a killer might get angry and he doesn't like it and we don't want to hurt the feeling of the terrorist. That means that, you know, and that's just shame for the democracy system is shame because all made me as a one child that came out of country and or other Iranian people, I talk about our Iranian people, because we believe that in Europe they find democracy and freedom and they believe in that. And if we lose that hope also here, so we have to take the fighting in our own hand and do something about it.
right.
That will cause chaos. So I think the secret police should think about that before people are getting afraid that much to start to react, to do something for to saving their life.
Yeah, precisely.
You know, so this is their job to do something for safety of democracy first of all, and freedom, and stopping terrorists in any power they can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the people who escaped Iran, like yourself, and who came to Europe or who go to the United States, there's nowhere else to go.
But we can do more. So if I don't feel safe here also, I have to do something. I believe in peace. I believe in democracy. And I came here and I see, okay, I cannot find peace here. So this is not my peace. Still, they are bothering me. So I should do something. And I don't care what happened because if comes end of line is that, then you give up this this peace because you say, okay, there is no peace. So what? Well, I should fight them. And that cause chaos.
And people are constantly worried about young Muslims being radicalized because of the way that people talk about them, and they talk about them in a negative way. And I agree that we shouldn't be demonizing young
No,
people,
of
of
course
course.
not.
But I think we need to have a honest conversation about other groups being radicalized as well. And I mean, if people are pushed into a corner and they have nowhere else to go, and they're being told that
I mean, if we can freely hang up a funny picture of the gay Jesus on the wall and nobody react, you should be able to hang up the porno picture of Muhammad too, and nobody should react. That is freedom. And no, because if you are free to talk about of church as much as you can, nobody reacting. So why you are not free to talk about of Islam? Why not? What is different? Democracy should work in both places,
yeah, absolutely.
you know? And that is the whole idea because we came here because we saw people in Europe or states, some of United States or other free country, people can talk. They can show and nobody bothering them. But what's happening that now, if ex-Muslim, they are talking against Islam, and then they're getting stopped by media or by system that don't talk, that cause problem. You are into the problem already. You should do something about it. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
that much they are using their money, even for pop singers or pop classic singers, which singing against them. They are separating those singers from the other pop singers, and they don't let they have concert.
Who you mean?
Iranian government for Iranian singers.
Right.
So if 3% almost of the singers, of Iranian singers, are singing against government. And those 3% always had challenging for their concerts because they don't get protection, they don't get money for concert to do, they don't put concert for them, they don't invite them because there's no money there. And the rest of singers which are singing just about love and they don't care about what's going on, so they get plenty of concert everywhere in the earth. And that is happening by Iranian government. Sepah is their military. They invest money in pop singers, just sings and making money off that way.
Right. Yeah, because they're trying to control the culture.
Yeah,
Control the
everything,
narrative.
everything.
Quite. Yeah, I find it quite disturbing.
Yeah, it is, unfortunately, and I hope uh, not just people, the politicians, the governments, the intelligent people in the Europe, in Scandinavia especially, start to think because exactly because this value of the freedom and democracy, we have to think and find some solution for this. And that solution, it doesn't mean that you say, okay, because we believe in freedom, then Muslim people can be freely talk about of what lie they want to give to the other people. I think to lying to people also by itself, it's crime, because a young boy that is growing up, if you come and teach them with a lie about a certain believing, that is crime because a clean heart, you can easily capture it and bring it inside of the system and slowly make them a terrorist because they.
Yeah, right. You see many examples of that. Maybe many
Yeah,
parents in ISIS, for
brainwashing
example.
is so easy, and brainwashing is a crime. Is a crime. If you believe in democracy, you should start to stop brainwashing of the people. They let a child grown up become 25 years old and then decide for his religion what he wants. Then he can study, he can estimate, he can talk, he can defense, and not that this most of these terrorists from the childhood they went to the Quran courses by force to sit there by they did beat them up, hit them up to just teach them some part of Quran by force, and they think that is the truth because one child, what anything you say to child, they believe. His fantasy is so strong, he believe it, and that is crime. So Europe, if people in Europe is believing in democracy, they should think also to brainwashing is not a part of democracy. That's against democracy. So they have to fight against it.
Are there anything we haven't covered yet that you would like to talk about?
Uh, I think we got the most. So among this refugee, they come to the country, to Scandinavia and even Germany. Uh, Among them, if you say like 100 amounts are coming as a refugee, be sure five of them are spy and come as a refugee. Just working because Iranian government all these 42 years, last past 42 years, use money for keeping himself on power, and that is this type of power. So they are spending money, billions of billions, to just keep themselves in power by killing their people against them, by killing youngs are against Islam, by killing politicians, writers, poets, singers, all these things. So they do anything for keep themselves in power.
Right. So you're saying that um, amongst the some legitimate refugees that are coming to Europe these days, um, state actors are also amongst them.
Oh yes, of course. I'm telling is at least 2% of them are spy, and those 2% nobody because if they cannot find Iranian people to do this for them, they find Syrian or people from Iraq, Palestinian, or from Tunisia, from Africa, they hire because those people are thirsty for money. Pay them a plenty of money to work for Iranian government. And they do because they see they are Islam and we love Islam. And they pay them thousands of dollars just to work for them. Oh yeah. And that's easy this time to find people which they need money to work for one government.
So how would you separate the bad actors from the legitimate refugees?
I think each system should be more clever now. They have to get help from Iranian people, from those Iranian people which are living long time in Europe, and at least they know they are not spy and they are living in honest life. They should get help from them. They should bring them inside and let them they recognize them and find those. And we should go like a chain together. So if they get that, make that chain between Iranian, which are secure and they know that's the other one are spy. They show them, point them out, and find them, and prove them, and send them back to Iran or what they need to be judged.
Right.
But they should get help from Iranian people.
Yeah, I imagine that would be uh, like, for instance, after refugees or after people who wanted to go to Europe found out that Europe was prioritizing people from Syria, everybody started, or many people at least, started saying that, oh, I'm from Syria, in order to get into Europe faster. But it would be very easy for somebody who is from Syria to recognize that, oh, person doesn't speak the language, or he can't even tell me
Yeah,
any details about the
yeah.
country. This person
Many,
isn't from there.
many Afghanish people came here with the name of Iranian. They say we are Iranian, and they're Afghanish. And Iranian knows that he's not, or she's not Iranian. And but nobody asks them, and they are not allowed to go give their opinion about somebody. So I think the system should be more clever to use these resources has here in country, in whole Scandinavia, and get help from them. People come and we talk with each other and we know who's a spy and who's what doing. You know, they should start to this way, and we should cut their hands. They should be lonely. They shouldn't get power. They shouldn't have business in Europe or state, and they are billionaires working for Iranian government, and everybody knows, but we cannot do anything.
No, oh no, and it's so crazy. I mean, in Sweden, Sweden is accepting people who have received a Swedish citizenship who have
Yeah,
gone to Syria to fight for ISIS, and they're taking them back, and they're giving them, stipends and government money.
that's just amazing. You know, just
It seems like madness.
yes, of course, you invite a killer inside of your country. Say, come, you're a rapist and killer. It's okay. I'll let you come and live here in peace and do what you want to do. That means that. And how that's why they could go and kill that much innocent people, you know, because of that passport. They're moving around and nobody check who is this person and where he's going.
No, no, it's like it's the golden ticket to get into whichever country that you want to
Yeah.
get to if you have a Scandinavian passport.
If I was in a system in any country, I would close off the all embassy of Iranian. I would close it off. We'll send them back because these are just producing terrorists inside of these embassies. This government is not a normal average government. They are just intelligent service for fundamentals Muslims and for killing people and organizing crime, for making money, for damaging, for all this game going on. And especially now, which Iranian government is cooperating with China and Russia, and these two are the most corrupted country after Iran, and which they are helping. You know.
Hmm. Yeah, and that seems crazy. I mean, people in Europe, and also government officials from places like Turkey and Iran, they like to talk a lot about Islamophobia and
Yeah.
criticizing our deeply held beliefs. That's hateful and racist. And at
Yeah.
the same time, Iran is cooperating with a country that currently has, I don't know, between 1 and 3 million Muslims in concentration camps
Yeah.
working slave labor, and you have big corporations like Nike producing their products with slave labor with these same Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang.
Exactly.
I mean, the
Exactly.
hypocrisy is mind blowing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Seems to me that they don't they don't care. They don't care about that. They're just interested in maintaining their own power
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
using that as a stick to beat down people who don't
Yeah.
agree with them.
Yes, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I think there's all serious problems, and I've gotten tired of not having not being listened to, I guess, not being taken seriously. And so that's why I decided that I wanted to start producing content, because I think these are serious problems that should be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And so,
Yes, that's the whole society in Europe, in Scandinavia especially. They should start to think because this is nothing to stopping of democracy. Is nothing about that. Of course, everybody's free what to believe, but you're not free to believe to killing other human being. You're not free to think if somebody is against your believing, you should kill it. You know, and if we are talking about of Islam and fundamentalism and terrorists, we are talking about of exactly those people which are intruding inside of the other people's life and killing people and fighting with them because what you say just against them or because you don't like them, and they should understand this is different. If some Muslim is peaceful, doing his believing about of himself in his own life, okay, he can do that. But how many percent of them are that way? So those Muslims are deliberate and they're freely living and they are not bothering other people. They are by themselves against this government, Iranian government. You can find Iranian which they are praying still every day, but they don't believe in this government. And they are peaceful people and they are lovely people. And that has nothing to do with what they believe because the way they are believing is right. Because they believe something in their heart and they believe in peace and love and kindness. But Islam by itself has brutality inside it. If you go and read the Quran, you understand how much killing word came inside it. So there is nothing peaceful about of Islam. But if some people are peaceful, it's because of their heart, because of they're good human, and they believing in good. And many of them, after they read the book, Quran book, and they understood, oh, it's talking about that, they left Islam. Many million Muslims did that.
Yeah. Those people, in my opinion, are those are the people who we really should be giving support to as much as we can. Those are the voices that I think need to be amplified.
Yeah, because it's so much fear. And so these people which they want to talk, they have pain in their heart, and they cannot do anything. I know a lot of friends which they have been tortured by their whole family. Many of member of the family was killed by Iranian government, and they are living here, but they are living in sadness because they cannot talk. And they cannot prove what they said. They just got permission to stay in this country, but they're afraid. And I think the system should start to cooperate with them. And we have to go around and cut off the hands of the Iranian government in any form.
That means we need to start opposing, taking away their power.
Yes, exactly. And you can get help from Iranian people. Many Iranian people, many hundreds, thousands are living in Scandinavia. Iranian intelligent people, they're educated, and they want to help. They want to understand the both of this government and this Islam they are building up.
Me personally, I'm going to hopefully by having conversations like this, I hope to be able to make something like that happen.
Of course, dude, you can. You can put it in YouTube, put it in Instagram and Facebook. Use these things and write it.
BitChute as well, calling out alternative platforms.
Yeah, yeah, and use that one. And of course, many people like me will come and protect them and do the thing, and they will follow you, and they will use that, showing different places.
Yeah, I hope so. Because I mean, I think the biggest problem for the group that we're talking about now is that the people who work for the Iranian government and these fundamental Muslim uh, or the fundamentalists through mosques and things like that, these people are organized.
Oh
They have
yes,
lots of funding. They
they
have
have money, they have power, they do anything they want. So the only thing is to find them, recognize them, and point them and stop them.
right, and to do that, yeah, we need the peaceful Iranians or the legitimate refugees and stuff.
Yeah,
We need to these people need to be able to organize something.
yeah, it is exactly that.
And I guess that I mean, ideally that should start by these groups being receiving much more support from our governments than I think they currently have been getting. So yeah, hopefully we can start putting enough pressure on them to get them to acknowledge that
Yeah,
problem.
I hope society gets really awakening of these things because it shouldn't become too late, you know.
But yeah, I'm optimistic. I think it's possible.
Yeah, of course it's possible. Just I know that good always win if they just understand what's going on.
So I guess with that, if there's one thing that you would want people to take away from this conversation, if there's one message that you would want to leave people with, what would that be?
That believing in what makes you calm and what gives you power as a good human is too different. That you believe uh, to having power by using one of these believing, you know, that is two different things. So if you are Muslim or Buddhist or Hinduism or Jewish or Christian, inside of your heart you need just that for praying between you and what you believe. So you don't need to have a sign for it. You don't need to have a power for it to go to show it off to the other people. Because if it's believing in your heart, it's for your heart. And as soon as you see this, take the picture of grouping and power and showing off what they're doing, then it's getting dangerous. Which I think Iranian government is the first level of this now. It's really starting to gathering, organizing with weapon, with bomb, with threatening other country, other people. And, you know, the government is killing this much of his own people. Of course, he's not kind with the other people. He cannot be. So he doesn't care. And he's killing some of this government, of Iranian government. They kill their own sons, children, because they were against Islam, against what they believe. Their own children, they killed. And this happened these last 2, 3 months many times. Because those children they understood what's democracy. They went against them. That is not right, you're doing. And they killed them easily. Their own sons, children. So then easily they kill other people, Iranian people, and then easily kill other people from other country. Most of the time in the street of Iran, then Iranian get killed is by Palestinian and people from Iraq and from Syria working for Iranian government inside the country. So what people should be clever, they should estimate, is this person believing in what he believes for his peace, for God, for himself, to find peace, or he's inside of the sect or group for doing something, following something. You know, that's different. It's so easy to find out.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much
You're
for the
welcome.
conversation.
Yeah, thank you. This is a great job you're doing.